Welcome back, everybody, to the Detour Podcast. I hope you're all having a wonderful beginning of the week today on this fine Monday morning. I asked you guys a few questions about last week, and I want to touch base on one, how I've been using the word of the week from last week, which is meretricious. I've used it a few times, but I've only actually had a couple of days to use it because I'm actually recording this significantly earlier than I normally record the episodes. So, I've used meretricious a few times. Again, it means something that is attractive on the outside, but is completely pointless in general. So, I've used it a few times. I've tried, I've failed, but it is what it is. At least I'm holding myself to it. So the past couple of days I have been. And then I actually asked you a question on what cereal mascot you think would win in a fight. And I'm here to tell you who I think would win in a fight. So they're cereal mascots. They don't really have much going for them. I did read off a bunch of stuff with, fast and sneaky or magic or whatever, right? But I feel like if we go based off of the fact that Count Chocula is literally a vampire, I feel like he would win in the circumstances of he's immortal. The other guys, would have to team up to kill him, but he could basically take them all out one by one. But if that's the case of him being tag teamed, right, I think I would choose Tony the Tiger just because he seems like he could pack a punch. And despite the Trickster Rabbit being fast and shifty, I think one knock would take him out. And the Leprechaun, you haven't really seen him use his magic in commercials, so he'd get punted. So it's one of those things of I think Count Chocula would win, but if they tag teamed him, because it is just a group thing, then I'd choose Tony the Tiger. So that's my view on it. And this week has been a very disappointing and miserable week because, I think it was the U.S. got knocked out of the World Cup. So I'm pretty sure it was Monday, the day the last episode came out. The U.S. got knocked out. We played abysmally. So I'm like, dang, that's 3 of my teams. I got to hop on another one just for the sake of staying in the game. So I'm like, I got a friend who's Colombian. I'm going to go for Colombia. They got knocked out. I can't do with any more heartbreak. I'm checking out of the World Cup. Whoever wins. And I was thinking, because I have some coworkers who also enjoy the World Cup, it was France versus Morocco. And obviously I want Morocco to win, and they lost. So I'm just going to stop, because it seems like anyone I want to win end up losing. So I'm done with the World Cup for this year. Check back in 4 years, and we'll see where I'm at. But that's really all I have to talk about for this past week. The reason I'm recording so early is, one, I want to record earlier so I have more time to do things and I don't feel rushed recording the day prior to upload. But I also am going on holiday this weekend. If you're from Utah, I'm going, I forget where it is, but it's down by St. George. And if you're not, none of it matters. But I'm basically going on holiday, going to get some sunny rays, get that sunny D, and, it'll be fun. So that's why I'm doing it a little bit early, hence why I haven't had time to do the word of the week. Speaking of the word of the week, ladies and gentlemen, I have a new one. It should be a very easy one for all of us to do. Elucidate. Very easy. Shorter. Meretricious was kind of hard. I feel like because it's such a big word, it's harder to kind of fit in a sentence. But elucidate is shorter. It's a verb, so to describe things, and it means to clarify or explain. Let me try to think of a sentence of how to do it. To clarify or explain. Could you elucidate this for me? Maybe. I was trying to think of this person likes to elucidate when talking about something they're interested in. But can you elucidate this for me? Can you clarify this or explain this to me, for me? That's a pretty good one. Again, elucidate, to clarify or explain. Banging. Throughout the week, I was actually thinking, because I'm watching TikToks, as most of us do. And one of them came up, and it was talking about, like, would you rather have, French fries or pineapple pizza? And I was thinking, because I'm trying to come up with some more hot takes that I believe in. I'm not just going to spew crap that I don't believe in, right? I think pineapples deserves a place on pizza. I think it deserves, I'd say, in the top 10 pizza toppings of all time on a pizza. You can hate me, you can love me, I don't care, because pineapple just tastes too good. When you're having a Hawaiian pizza and you get some sweet ham and you get that pineapple on there, I love pizza so much. And there's like 700 ways you can have pizza. Oh, hi, buddy. What are you doing? Go get it. Go get the platypus. He's got this platypus he likes to hold in his mouth. And he'll just carry it around and lay there and be all cutie. He doesn't rip it up like he usually does. So, but yeah, that's my hot take for the week. Let me know. Obviously, let me know what you think. This episode today is just going to be a little bit shorter, just because of what I have going on. But I'm still gonna hit all the main bullet points that I'm trying to include in it. So, thinking about more stories of how people can be a-holes or jerks, right? I came across this one, and it says, am I the a-hole for clearing out my ex-boyfriend's childhood room in the home where he grew up? Kind of confusing there, but also kind of sounds like you're the a-hole. So let's jump right into this story. I moved in with my significant other of 2 years after my pay was reduced in February due to everything that's been happening, and it didn't make financial sense for me to live in my own apartment anymore. So my significant other asked me to move in with him, so I took up his offer. My significant other is my ex-boyfriend's dad, and I'm now living in the home where my ex-boyfriend grew up. Kind of dicey already. My ex-boyfriend doesn't visit the house at all. I suggested to my significant other that we should move everything out of my ex's childhood room, let me use it to store some of my stuff, and let me use it as my personal office/lounge room. My significant other agreed. So I boxed up everything in my ex's childhood room and moved them to the garage, including the furniture. Okay, I mean, if the ex-boyfriend is an adult, clearly, and they don't visit, it's not their home anymore, so it's kind of like, move on, right? I've redecorated the room and made it mine. Before I even moved his things, I emailed my ex about this and told him he should come by and take a look at what he wants to keep and or sell and or donate. After not hearing from him for 3 weeks, today he texted me calling me all sorts of names for clearing out and taking his room. Buddy, she gave you a heads up. I was going to think it was like, because she's dating the dad, she has the entitlement, but she emailed the dude about it, and he doesn't live there. His dad was like, yeah, that's fine, because it's my SO, my significant other. Why not give them the room? My son doesn't visit at all. She gave him a heads up and asked him in an email, and no response. Like, there's no reason why he needs to blow up like that. What a child. I'm really trying to be sensitive and nice here, but he is making this very difficult with his rage-filled outbursts and texts. My significant other and I are giving him a year to clear out his childhood stuff from the garage before I donate everything. Neither my significant other nor I feel clearing out his room is inappropriate, but my ex is just melting down in a tantrum-filled rage. Why does my ex feel like he owns his childhood room when he doesn't even visit? It is very sad and bizarre. I agree. Because let's assume, right, they're in their mid-20s to like 30s, right? That's a reasonable age for someone to be dating somebody's dad. I mean, obviously, if you're any younger than that, it's kind of weird. Any older than that, I don't understand why this dude's having a tantrum. But it kind of, mid to late 20s kind of makes sense because I feel like I'm still grappling on being an adult. He's probably still grappling on being an adult. She just moved on and found somebody more mature. It's probably what she needed, clearly, because he's throwing a fit. So he's probably just having a hard time growing up. But that's still so embarrassing to, like, you used to date this girl. She's dating your dad. And now you're throwing a tantrum with her. Like, I'd be so embarrassed to give any sort of attitude like that to a girl I used to date if she started dating my dad. Right? Like, if that's something that I came to terms with. Even if I didn't even visit my dad. If he owned a house, I had a room with just leftover stuff, which I don't, but if I did, and I never visited, and I don't visit, I feel like as the house or home owner, he's entitled to move my crap out, right? Especially if the person he's in love with is living with him. Like, I don't have claim to anything in that house. So Buddy needs to grow up. Yeah, there were no ages provided on this, but again, I think this was like the last one in a way. The title almost makes you feel like you are the a-hole. And I think that's why these are so fun to read, because you just don't know until the very end. But this guy is such a child. I don't think you're an a-hole, especially, again, the dad said you could. Your significant other said you could. It is one of those things of like, he's got no claim to it. He didn't pay for the house. He didn't make bread for the house, right? So I would say you're not the a-hole. And I feel like typically some of these stories can be subjective. However, I feel like if anybody thinks you are the a-hole, they're probably just like your ex-boyfriend. There's no way that you should be the a-hole in this scenario, right? So, respect to anybody putting up with grown-up man babies like this one, or even woman babies, right? I feel like there's just always some sort of entitlement or whatever on anyone, that they just feel like they can throw a fit and get away with it. But it's like, you're a freaking adult, dude. Grow up. And luckily, I've never had to deal with that. I've never had to deal with basically dating a child. And I like to think myself that I'm not a child. Sometimes, you may get more angry at certain scenarios than others, but I would say I don't throw temper tantrums or fits like that, right? This dude needs to go to the gym or run or go see a therapist or something. Like, he needs help. Because there's no way he should be doing that at whatever age he is, right? So, pretty good story. I don't know. I'm enjoying the Am I the A-holes a bit, so I'm going to try and find some juicy ones kind of like this one to read and, discuss with you guys. The question of the week that I have for you guys, which actually I'll ask you guys at the very end, what I wanted to talk about this week, because I was genuinely thinking about why do we get so obsessed, right, with random things? For instance, I used to be obsessed in like the idea of working on cars, getting cars, fixing up cars, right? And then it kind of died. And then I got super obsessed in like making streams and streaming and playing video games. And then that died. And then I got super, like, I've had this is how it's been with football or soccer for me. I get like really into it. And then I kind of taper off where I'm like, okay, yeah, I like it. And then I get really into it again, right? Why do we get obsessed with the most random things and then just kind of like, it just drops off the face of the earth like we were never into it? Let me actually pull this up 1 second. I just feel like it's just so weird. Like, not even we get new interests, right? Like, we get obsessed. It's not even like, I feel like it's a night and day difference. So why do we get obsessed with random things? Let's see. All right. This is what I found. We obsess over random things because our brains are built to seek novelty and meaning. When a new interest sparks, your mind releases a flood of dopamine, the chemical that drives motivation and pleasure. This surge locks your focus and creates a powerful, rewarding pull to dive deeper. That's very fair because I've been really into football or soccer recently, and I'm trying to learn how to juggle a ball, and it's just very fun. And I think about like joining teams again because a couple years ago I was on an indoor soccer team. It was fun. I mean, I'm terrible at it, but that's just, the name of the game. So it is very interesting that that's how it happens. When you get really interested, you get that dopamine that makes you just want to just take it on. And that's how I feel about this. When I first started doing this stuff, that's what I got. And I'm trying to find that again. Let's see. Whether it's a sudden urge to bake the perfect sourdough, a new video game, or obscure history topic. Sorry. This is why obsession happens. So, we have the brain's reward system. Your mind loves completing tasks and solving puzzles. Yes. A new hobby provides an easy feedback loop of learning and improving, keeping those dopamine levels high. That is true. That is definitely true. Distraction and comfort. Sometimes we fixate on random topics or tasks to escape stress or emotional emptiness in our daily lives. That is also true because life is very boring. And I think that's why traveling is also one of those things that is so fun because you don't do it that often. So every time you do it, it just lights your dopamine receptors on fire, dude. And then the last one that has listed here is neurodivergence. Traits like hyperfixation are heavily associated with conditions like ADHD and autism, where the brain can become deeply immersed in a topic for days or months. So it's saying I'm autistic or have ADHD. I do have some signs of ADHD, but I've never been tested. But yeah, I find myself getting obsessed with certain things that last a long time. And that's all I can think about and all I want to do, right? That's crazy. Let's see. People frequently share their experiences of jumping headfirst into new hobbies and obsessions. We throw ourselves all in, whether it's in crafting or exercising or cooking. This tendency can mean we never become proficient at any one thing because we're bouncing. Wow. So it's like the jack of all trades, is a master of none. A jack of all trades is something. Let me Google that. That's gonna bother me. Jack of all trades. Okay. No, that pulled up something different. Quote. The jack of all trades is a master of none, but oftentimes better than a master of one. So, as I thought this was going to bring me down, this means I'm better than everybody because I dip my toes in a little bit of everything. So I got different skills, but there's some things I need to do because the novelty of playing guitar is gone for me, but I need to pick it up regardless. I need to just do and practice guitar regardless of the novelty of it. Like juggling, when you see those people in Brazil, right? Brazil, when you see people doing that, juggling and doing all that stuff, I want to be a part of that. I think it'd be so fun to just hang out with friends and that's what you do, right? I just sit around and do nothing, twiddle my toes or whatever it is, whatever that saying is. So there's some things where I just need to focus if I really find it worth focusing about, right? That's really all it says right here. Let me see if I can find anything else on why we become overly obsessed. All these things are just about controlling them, the moment, but it's more about why we get obsessed with certain things. Let's see. Let's see if we can get some more out of this, right? Google, tell me more. Let's see. Because I didn't realize that talking about those things earlier, we're only, 20 minutes in? This is going to be a short episode with lots of juicy tidbits. I'm going to try and drag it out more next episode like I did last week, but let me see. Come on, Google. Let's see. The anatomy of hyperfixation. The spark. You stumble on a new topic, a weird history fact, or a complex craft. Your brain treats this new information as a puzzle. It craves a resolution. So you think about how can I resolve it. Every new fact you learn or small skill you master releases dopamine. This acts as a chemical reward telling your brain to keep going. Eventually, the novelty wears off, the puzzle feels solved, and your brain suddenly loses interest moving on to the next thing. While your brain does it, diving into hyper-specific topics creates a mental sanctuary. It blocks out real-world anxieties, bills, or work stress by occupying 100% of your cognitive bandwidth. Trying a new obsession is like trying on a new personality. It allows you to explore different versions of yourself. The person who makes cheese, the person who knows everything about Titanic, etc. Modern life is full of complex problems you can't easily fix. Mastering a random niche topic gives you a fast, satisfying sense of control and accomplishment. Okay. This psychological phenomenon states that humans remember uncompleted tasks better than completed ones. If a random topic introduces a question you don't know the answer to, your brain will itch until you research it. Is it a good thing? Absolutely, unless an obsession is causing financial strain or destroying your relationships. Let's see. Neuroplasticity, learning wildly different things keeps your brain flexible and builds new neural pathways. Okay, so it's pretty good. It gives your brain logical, overworked daily brain a break by activating your creative, curious brain. Nice. And people who have many random sessions often become generalists, individuals with an incredibly broad, diverse understanding of the world. Okay, so it can be good if it doesn't affect you negatively, right? You can become obsessed with certain things and maybe not completing it or becoming proficient in said thing isn't bad as long as it's just like not creating a negative impact on your life, right? And I feel like there's some things that we just need to continue to push past to become, I'd say, like semi-proficient in, right? That if you want to learn how to cook or you want to learn how to paint, become semi-proficient where, yeah, the novelty may have worn off, but you're just good enough that it is like almost impressive, right? That you don't need to really put much more effort in because you're just impressive enough to get wows or feel accomplished. Like, oh, I painted that. But you don't need to be like freaking, I was going to say Mozart, but he plays piano. Van Gogh, right? You don't need to, or even play music. Become proficient enough where you could play songs, get the wow factor of I could really do that, but you don't need to be a professional at it. You just need to keep pushing a little bit past when the novelty wears off, again, to become semi-proficient. And that's what I'm trying to do. So let's actually get down to the question of the week. I want to discuss that. I want to talk about why we become, that's actually what we just talked about. I can't. The autism is kicking in. Just kidding. What is it when you can't read? Maybe it is autistic. I don't know. What's the weirdest habit that you have that you think is completely normal? I want to know what you guys think that people have told you maybe that hey, it's kind of weird that you do that, right? And you're like, well, really? Like I thought this was normal my entire life. Let me know exactly what a habit might be, and I will let you guys know next week what my habit is. Keep you on your toes. I can't give you everything this episode. I got to make you want more. Come back next week so I can discuss what we talked about today. Just like that, right? You're just talking about, right now I'm giving you a puzzle, but I'm not giving you the resolution. So you got to come back next week to get that resolution, make you wanting more. So brief summary kind of the stuff that I want you to keep in mind as this week goes on until next week's episode. One, whether you think pineapple on pizza deserves a place in the top 10. Let me know what you think, right? 2, use the word elucidate on a daily basis. Whether it's 1 time, 2 times, 10 times, 100 times, use elucidate and try to insert that into your vocabulary. And don't stop after this week, but I want you to try to incorporate that into your daily lingo this week. Next thing, think about maybe some things that you randomly do get obsessed with. And don't let the novelty of it when it dies prohibit you from becoming semi-proficient at it, right? Just good enough to have it be interesting, but not where you feel like it's a waste of your time or too much effort. And finally, what is a weird habit that you think is normal that to others, the majority, isn't normal? Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. Sorry that it isn't that long of an episode. I did kind of push past things. But hey, sometimes it's good to have things a little shorter and a little longer. I mean, last week was the longest episode I've had in a while without a guest, because it is kind of hard to talk for a long time without somebody. But I've been kind of finding the mojo, kind of finding the things. Thank you guys so much for all like the interaction that you guys have provided. From last episode, I talked about morning people. It's a sham, it's a lie, it's a myth, right? People are pushing back on that. Somebody said I'm wrong, but it's subjective. It's opinionated. I'm not wrong. In my eyes, I'm right. You're wrong. But thank you guys so much for all of that. You know where to find me on YouTube and I was going to say TikTok as well. Instagram. You know where to find me on Spotify. Let's get those views up, because it seems like we're just skipping out on Spotify, but Spotify's banging. But again, YouTube is the main platform where I'm trying to reach out to you guys on. And I mean, I've been pretty on top of making those shorts. You guys have a little bit of juicy tidbits throughout the entire week. So you don't get enough of me, but you're still getting your fill, right? So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in this week, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Much love.